guys, how you doing today? Thank you for tuning into my channel. I'm David Mathis, and I really appreciate you taking some time out of your day to listen to what I have to talk about today, so I hope it helps you a little bit. The topic that I want to talk about today has to do with lifting equipment, and this kind of came to mind yesterday because I was at the gym and there was somebody that was asking me about whether or not they should use lifting equipment. And what I mean by that are knee sleeves, wrist wraps, a belt. I'm not getting into equipped lifting like double ply lifting and stuff like that. I'm just talking about the basic, simple, everyday lifting equipment that people use in the gym. Now, this kid, he's probably 17, 18 years old. Real nice kid. He works really hard. I've seen him in there quite a bit over the last few months, and he does pretty good. But I was noticing him squatting, and we kind of fixed his form a little bit because it was getting to the point to where it could start getting dangerous if he progressed with heavier weights while using this form, because he was using a very wide stance, but his knees were caving in, and I noticed him putting a lot of strain on his knees that way. So we talked for a little bit. It was a great conversation. He was very open to the changes and suggestions that I had for him moving forward. And we also talked about he does not lift with any equipment, no knee sleeves, no belt, nothing like that. He's got pretty decent shoes. He was wearing flat-soled Chuck Taylors, so no issues there if that's what he liked. At least it wasn't a track shoe or like a running shoe, right? But it got me thinking about, is lifting equipment actually necessary? And I'm going to first start off by saying no. It is not necessary whatsoever. You do not have to squat, and use knee sleeves. You don't have to use a belt. You don't have to use wrist wraps. These are all optional things. Now, I will say that they do go a long way in helping move more weight and doing things in a safer, more efficient manner. So I guess it kind of depends on what your goals are, right? If you're going in there, you're working with 65 to 70% of your 1 rep max, and you're doing, you're not trying to really kind of push the envelope as far as intensity-wise goes with weight, you can get away with not using lifting equipment. You don't have to go out and get a belt. You don't have to get knee sleeves. If you are a power lifter, they are a necessity. I would absolutely say they're a necessity. You are handling more weight than the typical average gym goer, right? You are putting more wear and tear on your bodies. And my good friend Lane Norton, he always talks about, he said, you know what? If there's equipment out there that is going to allow me to lift heavier weight in a safer manner, I'm going to use it, right? And that's a great way to think about it, guys. Think of it as a tool. A lot of people think that lifting equipment hinders your muscle development, especially the belt. A lot of people are caught up on lifting belts and how they take away from core engagement, right? Guys, that can't be farther from the truth. If you've actually ever properly braced and you've braced properly against a belt when it's on, you'll know that your core, your abdominal section, your lower back, everything is activated to the fullest, just like it would be if you didn't have a belt on. So get that notion out of your head right now. Wrist wraps, I would say are, iffy. Some people, they find it to be a hindrance. Some people, it really helps. For me personally, once I start getting up closer to like my 85, 90% 1 rep max and higher, I find that the wrist wraps really help me for stability, not only on the bench press, but also for the squat, because I'm a low bar squatter, right? So, and my wrists are in a weird position. I want to make sure that I feel secure. I want to make sure that that bar is not going anywhere, not on my back, not rolling out of my wrists. And when you get heavy weight on it and stuff, your wrists have a tendency to go backwards, right? That's where you start putting strain all in here. It goes down into your elbow, and you start getting a whole array of issues when it comes to that. So having some tight, stiff wrist wraps helps reinforce that angle of keeping your wrist straight instead of bending back, bending forward, things like that. So lifting equipment is there to help you. most people find that, especially with squats, that with using a lifting belt and using knee sleeves, they tend to be able to lift a lot heavier weight than if they're not. Me personally, I know that my squat goes up by at least 15 to 20 pounds when I have knee sleeves on, when I have a belt on. Now, is that some sort of magic? No. What it's doing though is it is creating confidence in myself, which going into a big lift, confidence is huge. But it's also allowing me to brace and get control of my body in a way that I can handle that weight, right? Knee sleeves for me, they warm up my knee joints. So they keep blood flowing in there, they keep them loose so that they don't stiffen up and you can't bend, they don't get achy, right? The lifting belt for me, I have some lower back issues from the Army and everything, and what the weight belt does is it allows me to create a more firm tightness in my core. My bracing is so much better, and what I personally use, I went from a leather one-prong 13mm belt to a lever belt made by Iron Tanks. I'm actually in the market looking for a new one. I might switch to an SBD belt. But what I find is that a lifting belt helps me create 360-degree bracing, right? So many people think that bracing just takes place in your abdominal core, and that can't be further from the truth, guys. You want to create a brace that goes all the way around, through your side, to your lower back. That constant pressure is what's going to help save your vertebrae, help save your lower back, keep your posture up so that you can keep your chest out, you can keep that heavy weight on your back. So don't think that lifting equipment is 100% necessary, but also don't discredit it. Don't think that people are weak for using it, right? A lot of people see it as sort of a crutch, and that can't be farther from the truth, guys. So if you want to get the most out of your lifting, the most out of your performance, and do so in the safest manner, I would look at investing into some good equipment. Definitely a belt, definitely some knee sleeves, definitely some wrist wraps. Anything past that is just, it's optional. If you have some elbow pain and stuff, there are elbow sleeves that can help like compression wise. Deadlift slippers are okay if you want to do that, but you know what? You can just deadlift in flat-soled shoes as well. High socks if you're for deadlifting to kind of save your shins. But that kind of stuff I don't really consider like accessory equipment, right? That's just kind of materialistic things. But the point I want to take out of this is use equipment and use it to your advantage, right? It's not going to take anything away from muscular development. Your core is still going to be activated just as much. Your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes are still going to be activated just as much if you wear knee sleeves and a belt as if you don't, right? Your chest is still going to be activated, your shoulders, everything on the bench press if you're wearing wrist wraps. Some of the crazy stories and crazy things I've heard about the reasons why people don't wear lifting equipment is just nuts. But like I said before, I think Lane said it best when he said, if there's a piece of equipment out there that is going to allow me to lift more weight more efficiently and safely, I'm going to use it. And that's kind of the philosophy I go by. So some great reputable brands out there for equipment is SBD, Iron Tanks, Rogue makes some great equipment. As far as shoes go, you can go a flat-soled shoe like just a wrestling shoe or a Chuck Taylor, or you can look at a raised heel shoe. Adidas, Nike, Reebok's coming out with it now too. So there's a lot of great options out there, guys, and you don't have to go spend a whole lot of money. Sure, you're going to get what you pay for, right? But you can find perfectly good equipment for cheaper if you're maybe more on a budget and stuff. So I would say don't progress too quickly in the expense of your equipment until you've hit more of an elite level, right? I still know people that use $20, $30 old Weider belts to squat and they're doing fine, right? So don't think you have to go out and spend a whole lot of money, but these are a few items, the wrist wraps, the knee sleeves, the belt, that I would suggest for anybody, no matter what experience level, to invest in, because it's only going to make your lifts that much better, that much more efficient, and it's going to help protect your body in the long run, which is what we want, right? We don't want to get injured in the gym. We want to keep doing this as long as we can. So I hope this helped. If you guys have any comments, any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. Like always, if you're looking for any training or nutrition coaching, strength athletes, physique athletes, everyday general population people, I will leave my contact information below. Please get a hold of me. I'd love to work with you guys. I do everything on an individualistic approach, so everything is custom to what you and your specific goals are. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'll be catching you guys next time.